Hi, I'm Mike Cohen, and I'm a local realtor here at Compass in Los Angeles. Today, we're going to be introduced to my client and friend, Noah Lewkow. Noah owns and runs a local coffee catering service company called the Cappuccino Man. Now, as a business owner myself, I've always been impressed by other entrepreneurs, and Noah is certainly one of the West Side's finest. As you'll come to learn, Noah has a deep love for coffee and a consistent desire to innovate to always keep his clients wowed. So if you're a coffee lover like me, or looking for that coffee catering service, then the Cappuccino Man is definitely for you. So grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and come join us as Noah spills the beans today. I just want to say thank you for joining us, everyone, today. Here we are with Noah Lewkow, aka the Cappuccino Man. And Noah, if you don't mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about it, who you are, what your business is, and a little bit of the background about where the name came from.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what's up? My name is Noah. I've been doing Cappuccino Man here in West LA. Is where we're based. We've been doing it for about 6 years now, entering our seventh year. Um, there's a lot of background behind the story, but yeah, we're a family business. Started in 1993. My dad was actually going to start a sales company selling coffee machines to restaurants and selling them a coffee product to go along with. And he bought a distributorship to sell espresso machines to restaurants. Some point in time, somebody asked him about the machine itself and said, "Hey, I've got a party coming up next week. I would love you to bring that machine and then set it up and serve my guests." And he goes, "Oh, well, that's not really, that sounds like a catering thing. I'm not a caterer. I'm a salesperson." He goes, "Well, how much money do I have to pay you to bring that machine and set it up and serve my guests at this party?" But from that one event, it kind of like got a lot of people thinking like, "Hey, this would be cool to have at my, graduation party next week." And 7 different people inquired. He didn't even have a business card at the time, so he just gave out his phone number and said, "Hey, just call me. Yeah, we can work it out." And
Oh
I
my
think from
gosh.
there, it was
People were calling you at your home?
full gear shift. Oh yeah, yeah. So and he built a cart, had somebody build him a wooden cart with wings that popped out on the sides, umbrella in there. Wanted it to kind of like resemble an old Italian coffee like shop station and like a little kiosk, if you will. And yeah, that was kind of it, man. We were using like a bottled espresso product at the time, which today would be definitely frowned upon. And but the expectations for specialty coffee, there were none yet because it was a very, very new thing. Starbucks had actually just opened their first couple of shops the first year that we had moved there as well in Detroit. So yeah, it's now, yeah, we operate in Los Angeles and Detroit. My little sister, Sarah, she runs the business there. I don't think either of us ever really planned to be the second generation of Cappuccino Man, but here we are.
You shared with me a little bit earlier. If everyone could see your shirt, show
Oh
what
yeah,
the
for sure.
original cart looked like. I mean, that's just amazing. I happen to know a little bit about specialty design that you do, and a little bit about the stenciling. If you don't mind talking about where that came from and some of the ideas that you have that you're going for in the future.
I've got probably a lot more to share on that than we have time for. But what I'll touch briefly on is that weddings is definitely one of our number one categories. We do, I'd say 50 to 75 weddings a year, which means pretty much every weekend we're at a wedding. One of the main reasons that we do get hired, and a lot of the times the cherry on top, the reason that we do get hired for events over some of our competition is the fact that we personalize every single experience and at no additional charge. And what we do is we will take a stencil, a template. I actually have one right here. Just happen to have one on my desk. So that's probably, Abby and Andy, we're going to call them. I'm not really sure who that's really for, but we'll make a stencil template. We'll pour the latte. We'll do our beautiful latte art, just like you kind of see here on the hat. We're not false advertising it. So every barista that we put behind the cart is a latte artist. They have years of coffee experience, and at the minimum, they're going to be able to pour you a beautiful heart in your latte, which a lot of people really like because they understand that takes practice and skill. But on top of that, after they've already seen us pour a beautiful, tulip or Rosetta, as they call this on my hat. We take that template, we put it on top of the drink, and we take cocoa powder and sprinkle it through. We pull it off, and it's like ta-da! It's like a magic show, and people are like looking at their drinks like, "Oh my God, this is so cool!" Everybody's taking pictures on their phones and posting, and it's just that personal touch like that people weren't even expecting. And it's funny because sometimes we'll do it for them, and they didn't even ask for it, and we'll show up, and we're just heroes. Like we'll go to, for example, we were at like Tinder a few weeks ago, right? And we showed up with a Tinder stencil. They didn't even know it was coming. And all of a sudden there's 200 employees lined up. And of course, that's the crowd you want to be in front of, right? A bunch of 20, 30 something year olds with, that are really social media savvy. That's social media gold. So that little stencil just made their day. And now they look that much cooler to all the friends on their Instagram. And hey, we hope maybe they tagged us in the post
Yeah.
or, gave us a little shout out, and then we're going to get followers from that. So that's one way that we do it. And then, as of recently, we do now have the ability to take a very intricate design, because if you can imagine, you can only get so detailed and specific on a laser cut piece of acrylic that's, this big. So somebody maybe wants like to put their face on the top of a latte, or they want to put a picture.
I want to put my wife's face on a latte. That sounds cool.
We can arrange that. Yeah, we
Okay.
can work on that. So we have this machine that we actually saw at a coffee trade show at the LA Convention Center back in August, and like one of the last tables we saw, these guys are using a food printer to print on the tops of lattes, and actually they can do beer, they can do anything that has a surface, tortillas, bread, bagels, whatever you want. But for us, it takes our drink, it brings it up into this machine. There's a QR code, you load whatever image you want into the machine. You can put however many you want in there. You tap the screen, and 25 seconds later, your latte comes down with that image on it. It's a mind blower. If people weren't already impressed with the little stenciling thing that we do, now their minds exploded when they saw a picture out of their photo album. The first time I busted it out was actually at a Twitter event, and of course, again, it was the perfect crowd to bust it out in front of, because these people were putting their dogs on their lattes. They were having fun with it, man. They were putting cartoons and all sorts of other fun stuff on there, and just having a blast with it. And it's a crowd pleaser for sure.
What are you drinking now? What's your usual, and what's your specialty?
I do like to right now. I'm south, like anything from Africa. I'm all about it. I like Kenya. I like Ethiopia. It has a little bit like a berry, like a blueberry flavor to it, fruity notes as they call it. And I like doing lattes, man. I just like the reason, it's kind of selfish of me, but I like to pour lattes because I like to practice my own latte art in the morning. So if I was going to try and start the day off and really just get just one cup of coffee and just get zing for the day, I'd probably just make myself a pour over and call it a day. But because I want to, pour a couple lattes in the morning and make sure that I'm nice and warmed up, I don't lose those skills. I usually make myself a latte or a flat white, and usually with oat milk, of course, because all the baristas, that's all the rage right now. And then I'll probably like 20, 30 minutes later, I'll make my second one, and that usually gets me going for the rest of the day.
Do you ever go and take the whole bean, grind it, and then make an espresso, or is it only the espresso roast?
That's a really good question. Yeah, see, it's funny you asked the question, because espresso is not just a drink. It is a drink, but then there's also, like they say, an espresso blend, and that is like where they usually take different beans from different origins and kind of put them together. So maybe they'll have like a Brazil and a Kenya and a Colombia and put them all together as like one. Sometimes it's even a mixture of if they're medium, light, or dark roast. And in my opinion, and somebody might want to try and correct me if they're more of a coffee snob or connoisseur than I am, or more barista than I am, but it makes it easier to balance your espresso when you have beans from different regions, and it makes it easier to dial it in. Whereas like if you have a single origin bean, it's a little bit easier, or it's a little bit harder to get like the perfect balance of the grind versus how long it takes to pull, etc. It's a science, man. It's like the one thing when it comes to being a barista, they make it look so easy. It's just like anything, but it takes a lot of practice and a lot of failure and frustration. And, you can use any beans. That's the one thing that some people think, that's not espresso roast. I'm not gonna make espresso with that. It's like, no, you can use any coffee beans to make the drink espresso. Just like you can use any coffee beans to make a pour over, or any coffee beans to make a cold brew, whatever it is. But yes, espresso roast is usually a blend of beans, and it's usually a little bit darker than most.
What do you recommend for the beginner, the person in the middle, and then the expert?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we run into this a lot of the time too at the when we're on the job. Somebody goes, oh, I don't really drink much coffee, but I really want to get something from you. I want to try something. And at that point in time, we'll just say, okay, well, maybe you want to do a matcha or a chai or something that's a little bit sweeter. It doesn't have coffee in it at all. Oh, no, but I do want to try coffee. Okay, cool. Well, a mocha is great because mocha is kind of like a hot chocolate with a shot of espresso in it. So it kind of helps to like mask the bitterness of the coffee itself. A dirty chai tea latte, same kind of thing. So if you've had a chai before and you try a dirty chai, it's not going to taste that much different. Sorry, that's a shot of espresso in a chai tea latte for those who don't know that, but that's some barista.
I was one of those. I didn't know what it was, but
yeah, any shop that carries chai and is a coffee shop that does espresso, the barista will know what a dirty chai is. It's kind of like the secret menu item that everybody knows. Most of my baristas, if you ask them what their favorite drink is, that's usually their go-to, because it's kind of like that sweet and spicy of the chai, which is a little bit caffeinated, but then like the bitterness of the espresso and the caffeine, which kind of evens itself out. There's so many different kinds of chai too. There's like liquid chai that's a little bit more spicy. There's like a powdered chai that's usually more dairy additive and sugar in it. But either way, that's a great place to start. If you maybe, like you said, maybe you want to try like that intermediate thing and maybe try something without a flavor, maybe just try a regular old latte or a cappuccino. That's going to be, about an ounce and a half of espresso, with the rest of it usually being milk, usually 5 ounces of milk, 6 ounces, whatever, depending on the size you get. So yeah, like a latte or a cappuccino. And then, a cold brew is great too, because it doesn't have the acidity or the bitterness that a lot of the times you're going to get out of either just like a regular strong cup of coffee, pour over, or an espresso shot.
Would you say the cold brew is more expert than intermediate?
In a sense that you're going to taste different flavor notes and such on the cold brew, but I think that a lot of the time somebody who's the cold brew customer is the person that usually says, oh man, like I've tried coffee a lot of times and it really messes my stomach up. It's like, it's really like it's acidic, and like I kind of like, oh well, why don't you try cold brew? Because when you do cold brew, you never heat the water. The water is never heated. It's usually an 18 to 24 hour process. Some shops do. You're literally just soaking the coffee grounds in water and extracting the caffeine naturally without any kind of heat or pressure like you do with pour over or with espresso. So yeah, a lot of the times, like people do add milk and sugar, of course, to their cold brew. But if you talk to a purist, like myself or like any of my baristas, most of them at least, you'll find out that like the person that drinks cold brew is usually, like you said, a little bit more of like a coffee connoisseur, and they're not going to put any kind of milk or sugar in it because you don't need it. That's really like, one of those things like it's a big no-no, like, oh, don't put milk or sugar in that, or
I just want to volunteer. I'm the guy that puts stuff in my cold brew.
That's fine. Hey,
don't judge
not
me.
Judging you. Not judging you. It's all good. I would just say try it first without, and then you put stuff in, just so you know what it tastes like. That's what I always tell people too. I love
totally
when I make
that.
somebody like a vanilla latte, and they're already breaking open a pack of sugar, and I go, wait, before you do that, why don't you take a sip real quick? Take a sip, see how it tastes. If I think it might be sweet enough the way it is, but
vanilla, that is dedication. This was pretty amazing. Noah, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit here and talk with me today. I'm grateful, not only friend, but also a client. And then I love the fact of what you're doing and how you're supporting the community. And just want to give people a place where they can find you, if you don't mind sharing where you are on Yelp and then also on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. So at The Cappuccino Man is our handle on Instagram. You can find us there. Cappuccinoman.com is the website. And then, if you just search Cappuccino Man on Yelp, we're going to come right up. That's usually where all the fun stuff ends up, between those three things. And we've actually been doing some really fun stuff lately on our Instagram too. So check it out. We're doing like virtual throwdowns with baristas. We're actually thinking about starting a whole fun little program since we're all in quarantine, and a lot of baristas are probably itching to do some latte art. We're going to do like some little like virtual latte art contest judged by the viewers and stuff. So we did our first one
That'll
the
be
other day.
amazing.
It was kind of a little test we did the other day with myself and one of our other baristas. But yeah, we had like 15, 20 people that were, throwing in their votes and tallying them up. And yeah, I won the contest. I'm not going to lie.
All right. I was going to ask. I wanted to know. I was going to ask. I love that.
It was close.
But Noah, thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Really appreciate it. Love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Mike.
See the continued success, man.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. My pleasure.
All right. Take it easy, man.